صلوا على الحبيب صلى الله تعالى على محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وسلم. Waris-e Nubuwat, Chiragh-e Ummat, Sayyiduna Abul Hasan Ali, Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, is the fourth Imam and Sheikh of the Silsila Aliya Qadriya Razaviya. He was one of the greatest abids of his era. Imam Zuhri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says, "In my era, I have not seen any Quraysh more excellent than Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu." Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu used to look at Imam Zain-ul-Abideen and refer to him as the beloved of the beloved. Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen was blessed with a beautiful character, which he definitely inherited from his illustrious forefathers. He was very eloquent and very respectful. He was always willing to assist those in need. Umar Abu Nasr writes that Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu purchased many slaves and then set them free. He would be kind even to those who were his personal enemies. Once, he heard that there was a certain person who always spoke ill of him. Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu went to him and treated him with such respect and kindness that he repented from his bad behavior and affiliated himself to the great Imam. Many great poets have written numerous qasidas in praise of Imam Zain-ul-Abideen's kindness and generosity. Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was always prepared to sacrifice everything he had for Islam. He sacrificed all his wealth twice for Islam. He was a very generous person. He used to discreetly send money to the poor people living in Medina Sharif, and none of them knew that the money was coming from him. The only time this became known to them was after his wisal. After the shahadat of his blessed father, Imam Hussain radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he completely divorced himself from the materialistic world. He spent all his time in the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. He would pass his days and nights thinking of the tragedy of Karbala and weeping. When Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu used to sit down to perform wuzu, then his face used to become pale. And when he stood in namaz, then his complexion would change to such an extent that it would be difficult to recognize him. The people would ask, "O beloved of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, what has happened to you?" And he would say, "O people, namaz is a time when you are present in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. Who is so naive as to smile and look happy when he is before his Creator?" Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu used to perform 1,000 rakats of nafil salah every night. One night while he was performing his nafils, his house got on fire. The people were rushing around trying to put out the fire, but he continued his namaz with total sincerity. After he completed his salah, the people told him that his house had caught fire, and yet he continued reading his namaz without showing any sign of panic. He said, "You were trying to extinguish this fire, and I was trying to extinguish the fire of the hereafter." Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen was a personality who truly feared Allah Azza wa Jal. His heart flowed with the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. Once during Hajj, he tied his ihram but did not say the labbaik. The people asked him the reason for this, and he said, "I fear that I will say labbaik, and Allah will say, I do not accept your presence. I do not accept the Hajj." The people then told him that his ihram would not be proper if he did not say labbaik. He then said labbaik and then began to tremble in the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal until he fell off his camel and became unconscious. This continued throughout the Hajj. Every time he said labbaik. Hazrat Imam Ja'far-e-Sadiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says, "When my grandfather Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiyallahu ta'ala anhu used to recite the Quran. The beauty of his recitation attracted the people towards him, and all those listening to him would become so overwhelmed with the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal that one did not know the condition of the other. The karamats of Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiallahu ta'ala anhu are numerous, but let me tell you two karamats. Number one, two people were making tawaf of the Kaaba and came to Hajr Aswad. When they touched the Hajr Aswad, both their hands became stuck to it. People tried very hard to release their hands, but it was not possible. Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen entered the haram while this was happening. He said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and then placed his hands on the Hajr Aswad. Immediately, the hands of both were released. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Karamat number two. A deer once came to Sayyiduna Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiallahu ta'ala anhu whilst he was in the jungle. The animal fell to the ground and began to say something. Those with the Imam asked what had happened. The Imam said that the deer was complaining about a man who captured her child. Hazrat Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiallahu ta'ala anhu summoned the man. The man brought with him the child belonging to the deer. Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked him to release the deer, which he gladly did. After some time, the deer took its young and said something and then left. Those present were amazed and asked the Imam what the deer has said as she left. The Imam said, she said, Jazakallahu fid darain. Imam Zain-ul-Abideen was given poison by Walid bin Abdul Malik and was thus made shaheed on the 18th of Muharram, and according to some narrations, on the 12th or 22nd of Muharram at the age of 57 or 58. He passed away in Madinatul Munawwara, and his Mazar Sharif is in Jannatul Baqi. After the Imam passed away, his camel placed his head on the Mazar Sharif and cried. Hazrat Imam Baqir rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi tried to move it away, but it refused. In the end, he said, she will die in this exact place. Eventually, she did pass away at the Mazar of Imam Zain-ul-Abideen radiallahu ta'ala anhu. May Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us without accountability for His sake. Ameen. Bijahin Nabi Ameen. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.